In previous video, we have talked about function. Well, function is very powerful concept in Python, specifically in Python. But every programming language has function, and we can use that, and it avoids repetition of codes. Like we can use the dry like concepts. Do not repeat yourselves. Well, function fits that concept. Well, let's talk about, in this video we'll talk about arguments and parameters. So these are two very important things in Python. Well, let's see the simple function hello. We have this, and let's print hello, and we just call this. Very simple. We have seen this before, yeah. Now we have seen this, and it will print hello. But what is parameters and what is argument here? Now let's see. I just pass something here like name and age. Well, I want to use here like the name as, I want to use this if formatting, which is very powerful in Python, and I also recommend to use that. The age is, well, age. Let me make it small so that we can see everything. So this is, well, parameters. So these two things, anything we just add here, like we just add emoji or anything we just add. So this is parameters. So I just want to have this parameters. And what is arguments? So we just call it here, like name is gem and ages like 22. So let me print this, either it prints something or not. I just want to have this. So the name is gem and the ages, well, 22. So these two concepts are very important. We have to know this. We have to know how to use this. We have to know what is the power of this. So without this, can we code clearly or not? Well, we cannot, because it's very important. So like function, the usage of function is not only to call multiple times, like we can call it multiple times, but also to make it dynamic. Well, we can make it dynamic. Like we don't know the name here, we just pass some parameters, and we use this in this function. How to show these like parameters? Well, we just give some arguments here, and well, we just invoke. When we invoke this function, some developers call it invoke, and well, the real thing which we can say this as to call the function. When we call the function, we just give some arguments to this, so it will make more powerful and very great our program. So actually the arguments are the actual value we give or provide to the function. So this is arguments, we just give the actual value to the, well, to the function. And parameters, the names of the values are called parameters. Well, these are the names, like we can add anything. We just it is like a variable, like just see here, name, anything can be. So one more thing I just want to tell you, that function, well, function returns something. Anytime when we make a function, when we create a function, when we define a function, specifically if you are a great developers and you just speak with other developers, you just tell them that to define a function. So well, this is best way to say something about this. So this is very basic. We have talked about the arguments and parameters. Well, there are something else as well, very powerful. Like, let me tell this. Default parameters and keyword arguments. What is the default parameter and what is keyword argument? So it's very simple. We just seen here that we gave the name and we just added the age. Like for example, I want to add the age first and the name later on. So, and now let's print this. Or wow, the name is 22 and the age is, well, Najam. How bad it is. So it will be very bad practice. So it is not good. So it is like error. You know why? Because this is just like positional arguments. It is called positional arguments because the position is fixed. You have to add the same thing. But how we can know this? Well, if we change the position, so we have changed this, it looked mess. It just like it is like error completely. We do not understand what does it mean. So that's why, well, it is like called positional arguments. And there is keyword arguments. What is keyword arguments? So keyword arguments is not a big worry, well, about the position. We do not need to, well, mention the position. How? Like, let's say age is 22, well, name is, well, the same thing. Now, for example, let's run this. Wow, it's great. The name is this and the age is 22. Well, it's very, very powerful. So this is called keyword arguments. It's great, I think. Now it is very beneficial for us as well to know this. And well, but this is very complicated and not a good practice. You know why? Because we cannot mention every time the name, the age. Well, that's good. It's sometimes it is like it has more it becomes more easy for us to mention everything, to just know the things like where we keep something and where we call and where we just want to have that things like name, like age, either which one of them should be first and which one of them should be lost. But it is not a good practice. You know why? Because you might like forget something here. And we have talked about the default like parameters as well. What does it mean? Like, for example, we have the same thing and we just mention here like name is Naveed and the age is, for example, 23. Let me make it little small. And the same function is here. And well, the name also mentioned and the age also mentioned. But where we have just the name and well, the name and well, 25. What will be the output? Well, name is Ahmad and age is 25. So no change because we have mentioned here as well. So what is the benefit of this? When we use this and if we, well, don't add this, will it throw any error? That's good question. You have to know this. What we do, we just add it here. Like we just call once again this function and we just like forget anything. We just do not remember anything. See here? Well, I just want to zoom out a little bit. Let me clear this. But we have this as well, the name Ahmad and 25. Here, the name is Naveed and the age is 23. Well, it has taken from here this parameter, this default parameter. We just talked about default parameter. Default parameter means we just keep something here and the parameter. We just mention everything like a value for the parameters. Like when we pass, either it is name, it is age, or it is emoji, or it is something like, well, job, profession, like education, anything, we just pass here, or we have these parameters, we just give some values, some like default values for that. So it's called default parameters. And if we use that here, if you just sometimes later we just throw some error, it's some, well, solution for it, so it will show that. If we forget, so it will use this default parameters, so the value of default parameters. So I think is very, very good, because keyword arguments increases the readability of the code. Well, we have it here, keyword arguments, and we just mentioned it here, the name is like this. And what's the benefit of default parameters? It makes our function a little bit more safe. It doesn't throw any error. So we will talk about error handling later on. But here we just save our function. We do not, well, let the function to throw some error, to throw some like garbage value, to throw something like we do not need. But the actual thing we just want, we just throw that, and or we just add the value, and it will give some specific value which we want. So our function will be safe. So we have talked about this, the function. In the next video we will talk about a very important concept and a very important thing in Python. We have never touched about that. So we will talk about that, and just back with me.